Mr. Chancellor, it's my great pleasure to present to you Professor Paul Anastas, distinguished scientist and pioneer of the field of green chemistry. Professor Anastas holds the Teresa and John Heinz III Chair in the Chemistry for the Environment and is the director of the Center for Green Chemistry and Green Engineering at Yale University. Paul Anastas is considered to be the father of green chemistry, where green chemistry is the framework for the design, manufacture, and use of environmentally benign chemicals. Green chemistry is a cornerstone of sustainability sciences and technologies. In 1992, he and a colleague outlined the 12 principles of green chemistry. This codex has significantly reoriented the world's multi-trillion-dollar chemical industry towards adopting environmentally benign processes and materials. In just 25 years, the principles of green chemistry are now deeply embedded in the public's consciousness and are key to the planning and operations of critical industries ranging from agriculture to electronics to energy, materials, and pharmaceuticals. Professor Anastas is also recognized for bringing together academics, business and industry leaders, and government officials to discuss sustainable development and the environment. Reflecting this commitment, he has held a number of influential public service positions, the most recent as science advisor at the US EPA. For his dedication and exceptional leadership in green chemistry, he's been recognized by many of the premier environmental science awards in the world, such as the E.O. Wilson Award in Biodiversity, the Rachel Carson Award, and the Heinz Award for the Environment. The conferral and acceptance of an honorary doctorate is a reflection of shared values of the most profound nature. As a pioneer of sustainable practices and science policy, Paul Anastas is an inspiring role model to all of us at McGill, and his association with McGill makes us very, very proud. Mr. Chancellor, I present to you Paul Anastas so that you may confer upon him the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Dr. Anastas to deliver the convocation address. Dr. Anastas.
Merci beaucoup. Chancellor Mann, Principal Fortier, Dean Lennox, dignitaries, family, and friends, my gratitude for the honor of speaking with you here today is only exceeded by my respect for the people and the institution of McGill University. On a personal note, I have to say, being hooded by a scientific hero of mine, Professor C.J. Lee, is a particular honor. Now, a special hello and congratulations to our McGill graduates. The rest of my remarks are directed to you. I know that you are going to be congratulated by many well-wishing family and friends on making it across the finish line today. I've got news for you. There is no finish line. Nope. You've reached an important milestone, but journeys of character, journeys of awareness, journeys of responsibility, journeys of sustainability have no finish line. That's what makes them worth pursuing. And as much as I respect each and every one of you, I must be honest, you're not my real audience. The oldest members of my true audience are 6 and 8 years old, my daughters who are with me here today. And the youngest members of my audience won't be born for centuries. And quite frankly, that's the audience that you need to be playing to. Not your family, not your friends, not your mentors, not your bosses. Because the future needs you far more than they do. When I was born, I joined 3 billion other people on this planet. When you were born, you joined 6 billion other people, and as we heard, we've added another 1.4 billion since that time. Now, the graduates today represent just a small sliver of that population, but guess what? Each of you has the capacity and the capabilities to either strengthen or diminish the only home that we share by what you possess. And because you are McGill science graduates, those are some tremendous capabilities. So I want to talk to you today about my expectations for your future and the choices that you need to make. McGill has equipped you with an absolutely astounding set of tools, knowledge, know-how. Quite frankly, you're smarter, better connected, and more experienced than the vast majority of those other 7 billion people roaming this planet. And that means my expectations for you are pretty high. So while others may encourage you to change the world, that's really not enough for me. I expect much more. Let me explain what I mean. Today's world is filled with forces that are going to transform society in ways that we can't even yet imagine. I'm talking about big data analytics. When we think about the zettabyte of data that is going to be generated just this year alone, and big data analytics has the opportunity to change that data into information, and information to knowledge, and knowledge hopefully into insight. Just in case anybody's wondering what a zettabyte is, I know Principal Fourier probably already knows, but the rest of you, it's about 150 million years of high-definition video, okay? I'm talking about such forces as synthetic biology that has already developed new life forms that are self-replicating in the laboratory. I'm talking about artificial intelligence, where many experts already believe it will supplant humans as the most intelligent entity on this planet in the near future. The point is that we are redefining what's possible versus impossible, what's knowable versus unknowable, redefining how we relate to this earth, how we relate to each other, and how we relate to the universe. Quite frankly, these forces to be reckoned with have consequences that are beyond our comprehension. So it's not enough just to create change. The world will change with or without you. What we need are change drivers who are also navigators. Absent able navigators, these forces can change human society in any direction. That's where you come in. We need you to steer the ship. Every navigator needs a compass. We need to make sure that we're driving direction in a genuinely positive direction called true north. A compass doesn't make something move. It's not a rocket, it's not an engine, it's not even a sail. It doesn't get you from one place to another. It just assures that you're going to wind up where you need to go. Because quite frankly, we've seen what it looks like when you end up in the wrong place. Many people have contributed to changing our world in tremendously negative ways by polluting our biosphere and our bodies, by addicting people to destructive behavior, by polluting and contaminating and degrading not only our environment, but our discourse and our culture. So no, it's not enough to change the world. I expect you to improve and strengthen the world, to make sure that compass is pointed true north. Because as much as we focus on the pace of change, so often the compass is more important than the speedometer. Because if you only focus on the speedometer, you're only going to wind up in the wrong place faster. So it's fairly easy to look back on the past and look at all of the absurdities of yesterday, when people believed that the earth was flat, or somehow enslavement could be justified, or women not having the vote was okay. So many examples where the premises are just so flawed and wrong that it boggles our imagination to see how whole societies could buy in to such a dominant falsehood. But retrospective condemnation is comfortable and easy. It flatters our illusions of self-wisdom. Far more important to do is to set our minds 50 or 100 years into the future and to look back at ourselves. What will the people alive then be recognizing as our absurdities? The list could be long, because I have to tell you, I view our current status quo as somewhere between an absurdity and an obscenity. Will it be climate change? Will it be using religion to justify barbarism? Will it be the institutionalization of human inequity? In John F. Kennedy's inaugural address, he said, if a free society cannot help the many that are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. And I'm sure he would agree that we're not just talking about rich and poor in terms of monetary wealth. We're talking about those who are rich and poor in terms of access to health care, education, security, justice, and opportunity. But I'm also certain that JFK would be as hopeful as I am today, because we see how things are improving. We see that in your lifetime, people living in extreme poverty, less than $1 a day, has been cut in half. The same for infant mortality. That in 90% of countries, women have increased their role in government. And today, scientists or engineers are designing new molecules, new products, new manufacturing processes that don't just perform better, don't just make more money, they're good for the environment and our planet. And that's what we call green chemistry and green engineering, and I am so proud that McGill is an international leader in green chemistry and green engineering. That's what the compass moving in the right direction looks like, and this is a good start. But the big question is that we need to ask, who will lead this necessary transformation into a sustainable future? Isaac Newton said, I can see the horizon because I stand on the shoulders of giants. Everybody understands that quote to mean, isn't that nice that Isaac Newton was praising the people that came before him? But implicit in that quote is that the giants themselves could not see the horizon. What that means for you is that leadership is not going to come from those recognized as leaders today or yesterday, but from those standing on the shoulders of giants. You. Your best professor, your best mentor, your hero are people to be thanked for putting you on their shoulders. And the way that you repay them is by striving with everything you have to see that horizon and to act on what you see. And then, after all, your biggest obligation is to help those that come next onto your shoulders. So why am I optimistic about the future? Because I know that every brain cell currently being used to distort and obfuscate can be used to clarify and educate. Because I know that every effort currently being used to provide to take advantage of others can be used to provide advantage to others. Because I know that every pair of hands currently being used to tear down can be used to build up. And I also know that when we create and invent new things, as scientists do, we can not only add value, we can instill our shared values. And then, when you succeed in doing that, you will not only have changed the world, you will have made the world a better place. Merci.